Okay, so it's on. Oh
Answer.
wait,
Is Rich not on?
I guess Rich
What am
isn't
I
on.
doing? Oh, are we all on
Hello?
different ones?
Hello? Hey Rich, did you not get the invite?
What invite? I've been spending 15 minutes trying to find the Google page that I can log into.
I'll send it to you
Yeah, good off.
again. Well, we're already live. Let me send it to you again. Invite.
We're just all sorts of confused right now.
Are you getting it? Okay, so now you're on. Rich.
All right. Are
Courtney,
we?
where are you? I sent you another invite. So you should be on the live one. I don't think you guys are on the live one yet. You're on my phone.
Am I on your phone? No, you're not.
No, it's just Rich and Courtney. But Rich is also right here.
I'm going to hang up off the other one.
Okay, hang up. Yeah.
That way it won't echo.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, Courtney, did you get... Okay. Looks like everyone ended that.
So I guess you only have to be in your Gmail account to get the notification. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, that will simplify things for the rest of the semester.
Anyways, we should do roll call. Okay, Mariah Michaelis.
Okay, Hannah Arnold, right here.
Mandy
Rich has
Hansen.
arrived, finally.
Yay!
Courtney Hogwarts here.
We have Angelina, we have Adam, Stephanie,
And that's it.
and Mandy. Mandy's here, it looks like, but I don't see anything there. But okay, let's continue.
Okay, so just so we are all clear,
Where's Nicole at?
so this assignment is actually going to be worth more points than it has been in the past because we're not doing our essays. So if you guys go to the page where it has the instructions and they have those questions, we all have to fill one out because the questions are specifically related to us. So this is the first question. Dr. George discusses many important topics. Choose one that is you're personally interested in understanding, then research the following. So we go in, you do your research, and for me, I did my research on the welfare system. For me, I've always had a very big fascination of Urie Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory. And so when it was talking about the war on poverty and how it was such a big deal, especially when it came to people who were basically manipulating the system, it kind of stood out to me. And how we can't expect, we want to get free things now, but we're basically telling the future generations that we don't care, we're just taking from you now. Any thoughts?
Wait, Hannah, so I think isn't it under the evaluating government efficacy?
Yes.
It says HOA discussion questions, and it talks about George will discusses. Is that totally different than what you were talking about?
No, that's the same questions.
So in that part, we all have to answer those.
Yes. It's now going to individualized rather than a group thing.
Okay, so it looks like no one's done it yet.
Yeah, no one has done it. So we've all have our answers. I know Angelina's got her answers right here, but we all have to answer it now.
So if we all have to answer it, why are we doing a Google Hangout?
Yeah, that's
to
what I'm
discuss,
confused.
because it's to discuss it.
But if we all have different topics,
I know.
We're
It'll be
sharing
good.
what. It'd
not
be
much
we.
to discuss.
Well, we're sharing what we've learned.
Okay, but this is news to more than one of me.
Okay, here I'll pull
so
up the
it's gonna
email
be
she
hard.
sent.
It's
Here,
going to
I'll
be hard for any of us to discuss tonight because we're not as prepared as we perhaps could
Yeah,
have been.
Yeah, I'm not prepared either. I wish
I
I were,
apparently didn't
though.
read the.
Here, let me make sure I'm saying it right. That's how
That's how you perceived it?
I
It
perceived it.
makes sense what you're saying. I just don't recall reading it, so I am in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So am I, but it's okay.
I'm comfortable there.
I don't know if that's a good thing, Rich.
Okay, what's faster, Gmail or iLearn?
As far as what?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I would say they're both
Gmail.
fast. Gmail probably, yeah.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Okay. So mine is on the welcome to lesson 7. She says, "Hello, Hannah. Lesson 7 runs from February 15th to February 26th. For the next few weeks, we will be shifting from writing papers into more readings and Google HO meetings that will carry more weight towards your grade. You will have a heavier reading load for the next few weeks. You may want to read ahead while you can."
Okay, yeah, I didn't get that.
Yeah, this is on my wall. Like, you know how she kind of does, if you click on the wall and it's right before you click on context.
Yeah. Well, then
That's where
maybe
it's
I
at.
did get that. Maybe I missed that part. Oops.
And it's okay.
That's why we have groups, right? That's why we have groups?
That's why we have
Okay, then.
groups.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see.
I just reading the questions on the evaluating government efficacy page
Yeah.
Mhm.
where Dr. George's video was.
Mhm.
It says it right there, and I totally misread it.
I think I did too.
I just answered the question with the issue that with what he had been done, and actually I was just putting some of the answers to this in my journal, so I'm actually more prepared than I thought.
Sweet.
The light just turned on.
Okay, awesome.
Well, let's go through these. Let's talk
Okay.
about it.
So first one, when you state your topic, and the first question is, why did the government get involved in this issue?
Is this the topic that we chose at the beginning of the week? Like, I did childhood obesity. Is that this topic, or is it totally different?
Could be. You can do the same thing if you want to. Basically, what she wants to do is pick one of the topics that George Will discussed.
Oh, okay, there you go.
He was all over the place, which was totally cool.
Oh yeah.
And research one of those topics.
Gotcha.
My research, and this is live, so it's recorded. My research is simply my opinion because I didn't research one of his topics.
There you go. Way to be super honest, Rich.
My mommy told me honesty is always the best policy.
It's true. I agree.
All right, so let's continue. So why did government get involved with this issue?
Wait, what
Okay,
issue?
Who's got an issue?
I got an issue. So
Let's
I
listen.
did the welfare system, and this past week, past 2 weeks, I've had to do a lot of research papers for Head Start. So I really got a good in-depth thing on what the U.S. has been doing for poverty. So the U.S. declared a war on poverty in 1964, and then a few weeks later they started coming up with ways to help this war on poverty. So one of the things that they did was Head Start. They also have food stamps, Pell Grants, and I'm just trying to think of other ones. I had a few more. But they basically opened up all these welfare systems, and they were big government welfare systems. And it says, has it been effective, and what was the results? In some ways it's been effective, and in some ways it hasn't. You have it for the college students who are doing Pell Grants. They see that as an investment in your education because they know that you'll be big taxpayers later on down the road. So it helps the government in that way when they're funding your education. They put that little money there right now, but in later years you pay it back and through your taxes, and it all works out in the end.
Sorry.
It's fine. Let's see here. And then it's also been not effective too because you have people who abuse the system. I'm sure we all know someone who abuses the welfare system in the way that they like to make it their job to take as much as they possibly can without working. And so that's what I researched.
That was awesome. Did anyone else do the research?
I did a little bit. So in one of my other classes, we're actually talking about like the healthcare system and universal healthcare and all of that. And so I kind of just like knew a little bit and just kept doing more research for both of these classes. He talks a little bit about it, how like the government spends more money than any other like body of people, and a lot of that is going to like our baby boomers and that generation, and how that's just a problem because since it's tax dollars, it's borrowing from everybody, and it's just not something that can go on forever because it's not going to replenish as people think it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions about it? No?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Anybody else then? I guess
Okay.
I could say that the government got involved because this is one thing I learned. The United States has the highest quality of healthcare. We actually spend the most towards our healthcare, but for some reason, like our life expectancy is lower than other nations. And they're saying like, why is this? Why is it? And it's kind of tied in with yours that it was because of poverty, because of access to healthcare and costs and things like that. And yeah.
Can I throw in a really random side note?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if any of you have ever traveled abroad and had to receive health care over abroad, in Europe it's actually way cheaper to get health care there.
Mm-hmm.
My friend, she went over and she had to get some medication or something, and she was in Belgium. And when they went there, and she was like looking, because this would have been like a $1,000 procedure she would have had to get in the States there. And so she was like wondering, why is that? And the government had regular getting an education and the cost of the medication itself and all the like technology price that they couldn't go over. And so that's why they have cheaper healthcare. They actually have just as good as quality in Europe, and it's cheaper because the government's self-regulating.
Mm-hmm.
So they spend less on per person too.
Yeah. So they say that like the government felt the need to intervene so that more people could get health care at a better cost and the quality that everybody else is getting and things like that. So that's like why they felt the need to do that. It's because like we're so behind everybody else, and we're supposed to be like the most developed and the top dog, pretty much.
Truth.
So should America be spending less on healthcare or
I
more?
think I think America can spend less on healthcare. I mean, like you would have to do some more regulating when it came to like how much doctors would get paid and how much their cost would be to go to college.
Yeah.
But I think that if countries like France and England and Belgium are able to do it, and they have still quite a substantial amount of people, I think that the U.S. does have potential to do it. I mean, it'd be more of there's pros and cons to everything, but I think that we can do it.
Yeah. And that's like what Obamacare was intended to be, but it just ended up costing way more than they projected it to, and
They just didn't.
it wasn't planned out as well as it should have been, probably.
So here's another question then.
Sure.
If we're going to spend less on healthcare, and yet our prospected age of, retirement continues to expand. We live till eons of age,
Right.
And 85, what George Will described, the very old people, 85 and above, that group of people, their health care costs 5 times as much. I don't think that's just because of premiums. I think it's because they have more procedures done or medicines or whatever.
For sure.
So if we're gonna decrease the amount spent on healthcare, how do we still care for the individual person? As a government, they have to secure those rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, even for a 90-year-old person.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I don't have the answer. I'm not.
If you had the answer, you'd be running for president right now, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You'd be,
A better president. I don't know.
So are you guys saying with the, I haven't been abroad, and the healthcare there, the systems there, I don't know. So they get better healthcare for cheaper because it's a uniformed price? It's more socialistic?
yeah, it's way more. Oh, it depends.
It depends. The FDA approves everything done here, so they make sure that every procedure is like safe. They make sure that like they're not going to do. Nobody here is going to have an exploratory procedure that's going to end up killing them. Like that's very rare because it's regulated, and that's like part of our cost. And we spend so much money in healthcare to also like have so many medical schools that can develop more like research on how to help people.
Exploratory surgeries that we can't do?
What?
So we have more healthcare schools with more research being done so that we can develop more exploratory surgeries that can't be done.
Yeah. Well, and we will not, they can be done. Exploratory surgeries are different. You can do exploratory surgeries, but they have to be done in medical schools. I don't know. It's a really weird topic,
Okay.
but we have just more money going into those so that they're safer, and there's a different group. It's not the FDA, it's something else, like the ABMS, I think is what it is, that regulates like exploratory procedures. So we have to make sure that those are all like safe and ready to go too. So we do have like a higher quality because we put more money into it and because they're safer, but she's totally right that Europe is very, very similar, and you're going to get pretty much the same quality. For
But
most
yeah,
things.
Europe is more socialistic in their approach, though, because they have it all at that one common number.
Mhm.
Like, this is how much it's going to be for a procedure.
Yeah.
Like, this is how much you're going to pay out of pocket. It's very socialized, but they are able to keep the healthcare costs down.
So
Like,
is
I'm
that
not-
why the Queen of England comes to America for her health care?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of playing the devil's advocate because we really need to think through these issues.
Yeah.
If you
It's
think
very
about
true.
it, socialistic medicine, it all sounds good on the surface. But if you're going to go into medicine as a physician, Where's the incentive in that? If it's all going to cap and you cannot, it removes the entire private sector of the country as far as healthcare goes.
It's very true. And I don't have all the answers to that one. As far as I know, it's with the incentive that that medical training isn't going to cost you hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's going to cost lower than if you were doing your, what's it called again? Your medical degree here in America. So that's an incentive there that it's not going to be nearly as much. You're not going to be in a crazy amount of debt like the American people are. As far as I know, I think that doctors still make pretty good money out there. Like, they're able to support their family and everything. But I think it's more of, why would you go and be a school teacher? It's because you love working with people rather than you love getting money. Yeah.
Okay. Good points. Obviously, this isn't the platform to debate, and that's not what we're trying to do. We all have to think about why we do what we do.
Yeah, it's
true. Or why we believe the way we believe.
It's true. It's very true. All right. So the next question is, what could the government be doing right now to be more effective, or to make the situation more effective? Does
I'm
anyone
chewing on my tongue so somebody else can talk.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
I think the government, I don't know, they're kind of in a pickle because I think there's so many people going so many different ways that it's hard to choose one thing that everyone's going to be happy with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think...
Oh, sorry.
No, you go, Hannah.
I think that, honestly, this is my thing, and this is what it comes down to.
Live the gospel.
Well, yeah. This is definitely my opinion. I think that we need to be more stingy when it comes to giving out welfare. Like, for me, I'm from California, and so I know the MD high, and it's really sad because you have a lot of people who just work to abuse the system.
Oh, yeah.
And so for me, I think if you gave that power more into the local government's hands, or even the church's hands, or the nonprofit organization, they are able to know the exact people who are abusing the system and regulate that more efficiently, rather than a big state government who can only do so much. That's just my opinion.
It makes sense. I had it explained to me at one point in time, the different types of spending that takes place in government. This was kind of the topic that George Will brought up the issue of taxes, and what the government's trying to do with more taxes. And if they tax more taxes on the wealthy, then they're going to get more money because that's a higher percentage, or it's the same percentage of a higher dollar figure. When in reality, when that happens, that causes even more problems that they're trying to solve anyway. But government spending is a third-party spending, meaning that it's money that you did not earn, and you're buying something that you will not consume. And so every government dollar that's spent is money that they didn't earn, and they're buying something that they as individuals will not consume. And so therefore they don't care about the quality, they don't care about the price, they don't care if it goes to waste. There's no accountability in the spending. It just happens. And so, I've heard of a variety of different things, but once I figured out that, or once I was taught that government spending is that third-party spending instead of first-party, meaning money that I make to buy something that I'm going to consume, you better believe I bargain shop and I go to the ends of the world almost to. I mean, how many times do we drive across town to save 2 cents a gallon on gas?
Right.
All the time.
You know what I mean? I mean, we do that, and do we realize that by driving across town, we spend how much more money in gas
Probably
or
more.
in time?
Yep.
It happens all the time, but we're ingrained as first-party spenders to get the best bang for our buck. Well, government spending is not that way, and so if the government were to lower taxes, give more tax breaks to those who are creating jobs and bringing in income and creating a bunch of GDP for our country, then it would be in my mind, it would be a much better place. And I'll save the rest for another day.
Rich, one thing you mentioned, you said like that they didn't care about the quality, and I think that one of the things that would benefit our government the most is that we could figure out some way to make the people in the government care about what the money goes towards and what these programs like support and what they do for us. And I think oftentimes they don't care, and they don't really even know what things are supporting, and so they just sign off on things and they don't know what it does.
Yeah, because it's not money that they've made, and it's not a product that they're going to consume, and so they lose interest in the benefits of it, or if it's going to waste, if it's going to spoil, if it's going to whatever, and it just, I don't know, it just stagnates. Yeah. And so you're right, we need to help somehow, and I appreciated, I think it was President Benson's quote about we must be accurately informed and then let others know how it makes us feel.
That's good.
Which I think in this class we call advocacy.
Truth, Rich.
Don't forget the group chat.
Don't forget the group chat. Oh, yeah! Thanks, Adam. I totally forgot about the group chat. Let's see here. How do I scroll up? Oh, okay.
There's a lot. Angelina?
Yeah. Does someone want to read that?
I will. I'll start from the second paragraph. It says, what I really noticed from the readings and doing my research for this assignment is that people tend to expect a lot from the government. The government basically governs the basics to keep and maintain society sane in harmony. That is why we have laws and regulations for what is legal and illegal, traffic laws, safety regulations, workplace regulations, appropriate conduct regulations, abuse, marriage, and divorces, adoption, etc. I've noticed that the people want the government to support their standards, morals, and beliefs. The truth is that we are all unique individuals who differ from one another in everything. This is where a lot of conflict and disagreements comes in, and nothing is really resolved. We see tons of people advocating regarding abortions, legalization of drugs, homosexuals, etc. Can the government really resolve that issue? Not really. Just how the government powers are limited in some sorts. So it is for the people. I am sure the governments can do something about drugs for sure. What about personal issues that go unresolved every day in life? For example, divorces, abuse, teenage drug use, teen pregnancy, etc. Is the government really involved? These are really private matters. These are familiar matters that families have to deal with on their own. Wow, that's deep.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. I loved that.
That was really, really good.
That was
I really liked it.
Wow. Thanks, Angelina. That was really good. And then Nicole said, hi, guys. Sorry I'm late. My computer is being weird. And then Angelina says, I wonder if having a lot of undocumented citizens in our country makes our healthcare expensive. Hospitals and clinics tend to have charity fundings for their cases. And Nicole, I think you're totally right, Angelina. There is a big part of the problem.
It's true. But I also wonder, like, how many other countries have to deal with that problem, too?
I feel like a lot. I don't think it's just us.
I agree. Yeah.
I think we get a lot of crap for that part of our society, I guess, of being an American or United States citizen. But I think that every country has their issues, and they all have their own problems. And a lot of times it is in healthcare. So.
Truth. All right. Do we want to move on?
Yep.
Okay. So Dr. Will cites a problem that no one wants to talk about. Do you guys remember this problem?
Yep.
Okay. What's the problem, Rich?
1 in 3 children are born out of wedlock. And I think he threw out numbers like 72% of African Americans, 54% of Hispanic.
Wow.
Babies that are born to a single mother. And so then society is forced to raise these, and he was picking on the guys, so I guess it's okay that I'm talking. He says that society is left to raise these children that cannot be taught because they have already in their mindset a mentality of they're victims already, and they are owed something by the government.
Truth. Sorry. That's actually interesting that you got that because. Oh.
I have a question. There's a question right under that. Does that have to do with the 1 in 3 are born out of wedlock, or does it have to do with what we researched?
It's the 1 in 3 that born out of wedlock. I actually got something different. I picked up more on the we are taking from future generations. Like, no one wants to think that when we are very idealistic in our thinking, but when it comes to funding for it, we just think that we'll just push it off onto the next generation. And so I thought that was the problem that he was wanting to talk about. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. But this might be a multiple answer question too.
No, he says specifically in his video, like, this is the problem that no one wants to talk about, and it's what Rich said.
That I'm wrong. That I'm wrong.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah, I watched it today, so I was like, no, I think that's right.
You're like, no, Shanna, you don't know what you're talking about.
No, you do. I thought about it first until, I don't know, I was like writing down the questions, so I looked them up, but yeah.
Hey, that's why we have groups, guys. That's how we have groups.
Exactly.
We help
We'll
each
now
other.
get all that question right. All right, so with Bronfenbrenner's model, how is this nations?
So that question has to do with the 1 in 3, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Well, obviously, if you have that many individuals that are born without a mom or a dad in the home, you're now being raised by single parents. You've got these children that are trying to enter the school systems. Single moms have a harder time raising families because they typically earn less money. Nothing against the gender, of course. The country's messed up and doesn't appreciate women like they should. And so they have, instead of going to parent-teacher conference to be involved with the teacher and crossing those different microsystem to mesosystem or whatever, they have to be out working the gas station at nighttime so they can put food on their table. And the kids come home and they're raised by either a daycare or a television or something. There's no nurturing going on, if we want to bring in the proclamation. It's just a broken system. And it leads to more broken systems because without a healthy male figure in the home, specifically these boys, they have no idea how to be a man. They don't know what it means to be a father.
And then the process Oh, sorry.
They never had an example set for them.
Yeah. And then the process just keeps repeating on because they don't have that male
Exactly.
authority figure. Okay. Have we said all we want to say with that one?
Yep.
Okay, well, one thing you can do for your country is reserve a spacious portion of your life for which your country is not responsible. Reflect on what you've learned and discussed this week, and then respond to the following. Do you agree with Dr. Will? And why?
Well, I
Do
think
you want me to
all
read
know
that
where
quote
I.
again because I'm still...
I'm like confused by
sorry.
it. I don't get what it means. I've been reading it like
Yeah,
5 times over. I don't get it. Maybe you guys can explain that to
I
me.
don't get it either.
Could an example be like having a strong family? Because that would contribute to your communities and the nation and supporting good values and all that. I don't know. I could be wrong.
What's your
No,
take
I
on
think
it,
that's-
Rich?
Yeah,
I think that's a good start to it. Personally, the way I looked at it is that we have to do our part as an individual to make sure that there's a part of our life, whether it's the first 20 years or the last 20 years, that our country is not responsible for taking care of us. That we will choose to take care of ourselves. We will stand up and be our own person. That we will make a difference because of what we do rather than sitting at home and collecting food stamps so that the government is paying for everything that I'm doing. That's the way I understood that quote.
It's true, and I totally agree with you on it. Like, for me, my husband and I, we don't like being on food stamps, and so we do everything we possibly can not to take from the government, except for Pell Grants, because we can't do it any other way. But like, it's so nice not to feel like you have that looming in your head, and not only that, you kind of feel like you're doing your own part to pay your way for your children, almost. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. We have to keep in mind that government programs are not bad programs.
Yeah.
The programs are implemented for reasons. It's to secure the rights that we have for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The problem, in my opinion, and obviously I've been way opinionated tonight, the problem is when government crosses the line and says, okay, we're going to reward you with so much government handout that you lose the incentive to take care of yourself. I could make more money right now on unemployment and food stamps and all these other things than I can working 40, 50 hours a week going to school full time. That's the problem. There's no incentive to go out and become your own person because the government is willing to just give it to you, hand over fist.
Truth. Anyone else have an opinion?
I promise I'll be quiet.
I love when you talk, Rich, because I think you have great opinions. I say let's go on to the next one.
Okay. And I think this is our last question, and then we all can do the mad dash race and trying to get this done in time. In what areas do you personally feel the government should be involved and should not be involved in? Addressing your chosen threat to families or children and families. And I think we kind of already talked about this, like especially with Rich's comment when it came to welfare, where you're making sure that people want to become their own selves, not just rely on the government.
Cheerio.
Anyone else? No? Okay, I think we're done, people.
Perfect. Sounds
We
good.
need
That
a
was
summary, but I'm not going to do it this time.
Well, we all have to do our own.
Oh, that's true. You're right. We don't need a summary then, do we?
No, we're gonna give it all our own personal summaries.
Perfect.
All right. Well, hasta luego, guys, and
Bye,
I'll
guys.
see you guys
Before
next
everybody
week.
leaves, I will say I apologize if I have offended any of you with my opinions tonight.
No,
I
never.
don't think you offended anyone.
No.
I think your opinions were great. Thank you for sharing them, honestly. Thank you to
Have a
everyone
great
that
night, you all.
participated.
See y'all
We'll
next
you
week.
later. Bye.
All right.